And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the way. Certain things, they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet. He was like in the hallway.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take but he won't shoot.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. You're still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
A lot of good it did me. My heart is with Cassie. She and all the women that testified had to sit on the stand while the world has debated their
after months of courtroom drama, emotional testimonies, and 2 major federal raids, the verdict in the case against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is finally out. Diddy was found guilty of transporting 2 of his former partners, Cassie and Jane, across state lines for illegal purposes. But on the more serious charges, racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking, he was acquitted. So while he dodged a RICO bullet, he's still looking at up to 20 years behind bars. The hip-hop world is shaken, and no one reacted louder than 50 Cent.
Bit of a commotion outside the courthouse. Sean Combs' mother just returned here. She walked in just a second ago, said she is feeling good because her son was acquitted of the most serious charges that he faced. And racketeering conspiracy, both of which could have sent him to prison for life. He was convicted, though, of transportation to engage in prostitution, and that charge could put him in prison for up to 20 years, although it's not expected he would get that much time. What we're waiting for now is the judge to decide whether Combs can be released on bail while he awaits his sentencing. He offered to put up $1 million. He put up his homes in Miami and Los Angeles. They're certainly opulent. The jury, the judge, everybody saw pictures of them. And the judge said he would convene a hearing later this afternoon to determine if Combs should be released.
50 Cent has never been subtle about his feelings toward Diddy, but now he's putting it all out there in the boldest way possible with a Netflix documentary. The project, provocatively titled Did He Do It?, is expected to premiere by the end of 2025, and according to 50, it's going to include claims and evidence that the trial didn't even touch. He says he's been collecting this information for decades, quietly, patiently, and now he's ready to show the world everything.
You and Puff haven't liked each other business-wise for a long time.
Well, that's why it's only business. It was really, away from that, I explained why I didn't hang out with him, right? Because it's a little fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was acting to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. Like, and I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. Like, and now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards. Or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. And when I say people respond, how people respond to things matter, like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being the uncomfortability. He goes, yo, nah, I'll spend $100,000 to find out why my name is in this like this. And it's in it only because he's uncomfortable.
No one hates Diddy more.
50 Cent's disdain for Diddy isn't new. In fact, people in the industry say it goes back decades, long before courtrooms and documentaries. And allegedly, all began with one awkward interaction. According to 50, Diddy once invited him out shopping. It didn't sit right with him, with long-standing rumors already swirling about Diddy's sexuality. 50 says that moment changed everything. He turned him down, and that simple no may have kicked off one of the longest-running rivalries in hip-hop history.
Ah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop. Stop it. You set that up. Look, obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. Guys may say to a girl, you know, like, let me take a shot. See? Damn, they found it that quick.
What do you think's happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on there. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I could just flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the way. Certain things, they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet. He was like in the hallway.
All these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They say you're a hater. They say you're crazy.
Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My is hurting.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. You're still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Now 50 Cent is reacting to the Diddy verdict.
He posted a picture of him smiling and wrote the caption, Diddy beat the Rio. That boy a bad man. He like the gay John Gotti. Hey, yo, chill. Then he posted this one. He said, Diddy just told me to tell y'all don't worry about him. He gonna hold it down. I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like 50 Cent happy that Diddy didn't go to jail. As much as he don't like Diddy, I don't think he wanted to really see him in jail doing life.
50 Cent didn't hold back. He took to social media with his usual sharp wit, but this time, his tone felt different. It wasn't just trolling. You could hear the frustration in his words. After years of warning people about Diddy, he finally felt vindicated. But even he didn't expect things to go down like this.
You're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that shit in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took
I
took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, boy. I didn't give her a drink so she forget what the happened. What the is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drinks. I gave me to perform so she can remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work?
What the this is, yo, bro, look, I'm doing pretty good. Like, doing pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, this is the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why. Well, I don't know why it's so hard for people
so
just
for
to
people
acknowledge
to feel
weird
like
shit is
you
weird.
would have something or you would have reserved energy because you feel like you was doing it too. This is people that are looking on separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what is that?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip hop culture could think that everybody in hip hop culture is with that.
Netflix docuseries that you've been working on. Diddy do it?
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle. You weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way you would present the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it. Just that alone.
So you didn't realize
as much stuff was coming. Like, when I seen today, it was allegations of 3 men that said he drugged them and it's a long time, to be honest with you. Like, when people don't remember being violated for 20 years, it makes me feel a little hard.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z?
That was interesting. When I was saying things not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going with like, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also. So I hope it works out, because with his family, the things that go on internally is that those accusations are crazy.
In an industry full of secrets and silence, 50 Cent has always stood apart. Unlike others, he never needed Diddy's party's protection or approval. He kept his name and his reputation clean. And now, while others stay quiet, worried about what they might be exposed for, 50 is speaking freely. He knows Diddy can touch him. Not legally, not personally. And in a world where alliances are built on favors and silence, that makes him dangerous in the best way.
But there's a big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible. And I agree, because it's a sex crime.
Prosecutors, they said in their filing yesterday that it's a crime of violence. We'll see how it goes down when it goes to sentencing. But
you know what? Hold on. I know we don't have a lot of time. Here's something nobody's pointed out. That judge can hit him what's called relevant conduct, where they could actually sentence and enhance him for things that he either was acquitted of, found not guilty of, based on the conduct of what he did. So he may get more time.
The judge has a lot of discretion here. There's no minimum. Max is 10. There's been talk about would he even go past the guidelines, because you're talking about multiple instances of transportation to engage in prostitution and two victims.
Relevant conduct allows the judge to do that.
Right.
The defense will say he has discretion, but he really didn't, because the judge has all the discretion he wants.
That's 100%. That's why he's going to need as much information from a pre-investigation report. Let me ask you this. If he goes to prison, if he's sentenced to prison, he was acquitted of racketeering. He was acquitted of trafficking, but he was convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution. Does he walk in a king, or does he walk in a pariah? How do other inmates look at him if he was acquitted?
You know what? He was acquitted on some charges.
Yeah.
People win. I mean, on multiple counts, people sometimes get things dismissed all the time. Fact is, he's no better than anyone else. He's a convicted felon.
But he's going to get the maximum. The judge will give him the maximum, just like they gave O.J. Simpson the maximum in Vegas, because he got off Simpson in L.A. when he clearly killed these two people. And then when he got a second crack at him on a minor beef, relatively, of theft, they sentenced him to heavy time. So Diddy will go to prison, and he should. He's evil. And I say that because I just wrote a book called Confronting Evil.
Yeah,
he used narcotics and violence, to coerce people to do what he wanted to do. That's evil. Sorry.
Go ahead,
okay.
Stephen.
Now, back to Trump.
Well, hold on. Stephen wants to weigh in on what you just said. Go ahead.
Okay.
Only thing I want to weigh in, I don't want to castigate the entire culture. I'm tired of, we see pictures of a few bad apples conducting themselves in very disgusting manners and thinking that that's the entire industry. I'm a guy that was raised in the hip hop industry. I know an abundance of hip hop artists and beyond who have never engaged in, never been accused of, never would think of putting themselves in the kind of positions.
The charges that stuck, Diddy faces up to 20 years in federal prison. But here's the thing, there are multiple counts tied to the same crimes. That gives the judge wide latitude. If he wants, he can push the sentence even further. Which means Diddy isn't just looking at a long stretch. He could be looking at spending the rest of his life behind bars.
We have a big update right now. Remember how we were just saying this is the best possible outcome for the defense? Combs agrees and the defense agrees. Combs, after being led out by marshals, as he was being let out, he knelt down in front of his chair and bowed his head down as if he was praying. When he stood up, he faced the gallery and he began to clap, prompting the gallery to clap and cheer. Combs' attorneys, they all exchanged hugs and the gallery continued to cheer for him. I mean, what a moment in that courtroom.
Well, the verdict is in. Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted on 2 counts of transportation of his ex-girlfriends to engage in prostitution, but cleared of the most serious charges against him. The music mogul has been found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of trafficking. The charges he has been found guilty of are connected to his 2 former partners, including singer Cassie Ventura and a former girlfriend being referred to as Jane. In the U.S., it is a crime to knowingly transport any person with the intent that they engage in prostitution or illegal sexual activity. The 12-person jury deliberated for 3 days before reaching the verdict. The maximum penalty for each of the 2 guilty counts is 10 years in prison plus a fine.
How you feeling? Not bad. How are you?
Anything you want the public to know?
Not yet. We'll be saying something soon. We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done, and we're pleased that Cassie's brought to light everything that has happened in this trial. I just spoke with her and with the U.S. Attorney's Office team, and she's in a good place. She's pleased that the jury has found him liable, guilty of 2 federal crimes.
It's absolutely a win. The defense took a really big gamble going to trial on this case. Really, any time that a defendant chooses to go to trial against the federal government, it's a big gamble. They have a lot in their favor, and it really paid off for Combs.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict of our jury.
Some folks are treating this like a win for Diddy. He escaped the worst charges, and when he heard the verdict, insiders say he bowed his head, then stood and applauded. But behind the celebrations is a harsher truth. 34 witnesses testified, mountains of evidence were laid out, and yet he walked away from the most serious crimes. Justice, or just a system doing what it always does.
And after nearly a 2-month trial with 34 witnesses and hours of salacious testimony, a jury of 8 men and 4 women finds Sean Diddy Combs not guilty of racketeering and trafficking, but guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge is currently deciding right now whether Combs will actually be released today. His defense arguing that since the music mogul was acquitted of the most serious crimes, he should be able to go home. Once court was adjourned, family members cheered today's verdict. Combs' son, Christian, telling ABC News how happy he is.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy.
This is shocking. This was an enormous defeat for prosecutors. The 3 big charges, which is why they prosecuted him in the first place, the jury acquitted Diddy.
They only found him guilty on what we knew all along were the easiest things to find him guilty of. That was the transportation for purposes of the Mann Act.
Which is sending a prostitute across state lines. Right. Happens every day.
We knew before the trial started he was guilty of those.
They never would have filed these charges if it were just that. This undeniably is an enormous embarrassment for prosecutors, and it really underscores what Mark Agnifilo was saying, that they tried to make it about baby oil and Astroglide and all that other stuff. And the jury,
but you can't ignore the fact that they looked through also Cassie's emotional testimony. Pregnant Cassie testifying
and didn't
wasn't
buy
enough. It wasn't
and
enough.
Didn't buy it. It is undeniably a victory for Diddy, even though he's going to spend time in prison, it would seem.
After the verdict, Diddy's family was seen outside the courthouse celebrating, dancing, laughing, but not everyone found it joyful. Especially when you remember that Diddy's sons were named in lawsuits too. Allegedly, they were used to help him gain access to women, and both sons. They have assault accusations pending. For prosecutors, this verdict felt like a slap in the face. So much testimony, so much trauma, and yet, Diddy walked out a partial winner. If this isn't enough to secure a conviction, what is?
Here are the people celebrating it. Here are the people celebrating it. Crackhead Barney getting in on the action. Give me the baby oil, jumping around as they sprayed baby oil on her. I don't want to keep giving them attention, but I want you to see just how dumb this was. This was painted as the chaos. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's a stunt. It's a dumb, stupid stunt. She looks ridiculous. She looks terrible. And this is what it's about? This is what we're celebrating? I mean, this is horrible.
One person said these jurors wanted to just get out of the courthouse. They were tired and wanted to go home before the July 4th holiday to get ready for BBQs. They should have been given a break and deliberated after the holiday. Maybe they would have spent more time to go over everything more thoroughly. They did not do their jobs and justice was not served. Now, this monster will get out in a few years. People stop looking up to these people who live celebrity lifestyles as though they are gods, like O.J. Simpson and Diddy. Diddy was responsible for Kim Porter's death. Biggie, Tupac, how many others that we do not know of. What will this monster do from behind bars to get back at all who testified or when he is released? This jury did not serve justice.
One of the jurors who delivered that bombshell mixed verdict is speaking out for the first time.
Viridian juror has already spoken out and he's defending the decision. In a brief interview, he said, "We followed the law. The serious charges didn't meet the standard, but outside the courtroom, that explanation hit a nerve. With dozens of witnesses and piles of evidence, many are asking, if this wasn't enough, whatever will be."
I took a copious amount of notes. I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
And one of the jurors has finally spoken, and they're not holding back. In a rare statement, the juror who chose to stay anonymous denied that Diddy's fame had anything to do with the outcome. "We weren't starstruck," they said. "We followed the evidence, but with public trust shaken and questions piling up, that answer isn't convincing everyone."
A statement to ABC News saying, "I found that statement highly insulting and belittling to the jury and the deliberation process." Adding, "Our decision was based solely on the evidence presented and how the law stated we would have treated any defendant in the same manner regardless of who they are." The jury of 8 men and 4 women acquitted the rap titan of the most severe charges of trafficking and racketeering, but convicted him on 2 counts of transportation to engage. The case centered around disturbing claims from Cassie Ventura and a woman known only as Jane. Now, an alternate juror who didn't take part in final deliberations told CNN he still agrees with the outcome. But for many watching, especially survivors, it raises one haunting question. If this was justice, why does it feel so unfinished?
Cassie Ventura writes a letter to the judge asking for him to deny Diddy's bail, calling Diddy a danger to all of the witnesses. The judge just said at 5 o'clock he will make his determination on whether he's going to let Diddy walk free today while he's waiting to be sentenced on his 2 counts of prosta. And now Cassie Ventura is the second person to write a note saying that Diddy is dangerous and she doesn't believe that he should be let out on bail while he's waiting for sentencing. Cassie Ventura's lawyer wrote this letter on her behalf to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentencing trial. They cite the law, the Bail Reform Act, that says detention is mandatory post-conviction on these charges. And Cassie Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself as well as the community. We thank the court for its time and attention to this matter. Now I'll be on the lookout if we have any other notes from witnesses that testified against Diddy, because this is a big deal. The judge will take these into consideration on if he's going to grant Diddy's bail. Still waiting on the government's letter as well, so this is why the judge said he'll reconvene at 5 p.m. and this is when he'll make his decision.
Among those waiting on the edge of their seats for the verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs
Trial was singer Aubrey O'Day. She starred on Diddy's reality show Making the Band and for years has been going public warning about Combs. Now she tells Inside Edition hearing he may soon go free felt like a gut punch.
After the verdict was announced, Diddy's legal team rushed to file for bail, putting $1 million on the table. His sentencing is scheduled for October, and at 55 years old, even a 20-year sentence could mean he never walks free again. But Judge Arun wasn't convinced. He flatly rejected the request, stating Diddy poses a serious threat to others. The courtroom fell silent as Diddy, who had just faced a bombshell decision, visibly slumped at the news. According to NBC News reporters who were inside the courtroom, Diddy looked drained as hopes crushed in real time. His lawyers had made a passionate case, pleading with Judge Arun Subramanian to release him until sentencing. But the judge pointed to a disturbing track record of violence. He said Diddy's past speaks for itself, and that letting him out now would be a risk the court couldn't take. Diddy's lawyers tried to offer strict conditions. They said he'd put up the $1 million in cash, backed by his mother Janice, his sister Kasha, and Sarah Chapman, the mother of his eldest daughter, to give up his passport, stay grounded from flying private, and limit his travel to just New York, Florida, and California for legal matters. But none of it was enough to sway the judge. Meanwhile, Cassie's legal team also stepped forward, urging the court to keep Diddy behind bars. They say she's terrified he'll retaliate against her or any of the witnesses who testified. A letter to the judge, attorney Douglas Wigder explained that Cassie lives in fear. Singer Aubrey O'Day also responded, saying she no longer feels safe either, despite mountains of testimony. People are stunned Diddy avoided harsher charge, as any be more afraid of what might happen next.
What was your reaction to hearing this verdict?
It's literally a gut punch. That is not good enough. Let me make it very clear, it's not good enough. Okay? We're not normalizing this.
Pop sensation Aubrey O'Day is visibly shaken after today's jaw-dropping verdict in the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial. I caught up with her just moments after the court cleared Combs of the toughest charges.
You've been speaking out about Sean Diddy Combs, raising alarm bells for years.
A lot of good it did me. My heart is with Cassie. She and all the women that testified had to sit on the stand while the world has debated their credibility and worth.
Gene Deal weighed in on the verdict, saying it felt like Diddy's trial was never really about justice. According to him, someone high up wanted Diddy's tapes taken away to strip him of his power. And that's exactly what happened.
Bro, you got to realize you got people like Prince Harry. Prince Harry was at a Diddy party. You got some of the same Universal executives. Diddy made it cool for, I'm just gonna say it like this, man, whites to hang out with the hood dudes. Dude from the hood, he made it cool and safe for them to hang out with the white executives. They used them for that. They used them enough, whereas that now you got white executives doing Diddy-like parties. Remember the dude from, what's that, Frantic? The clothing line, the sports line? They was mad because they didn't get invites to his party because he was doing white parties, doing parties like Diddy. Now I ain't talking about the freak off party part of it, but I'm just saying he was doing those parties and everybody, there was rappers, or I think Stephen A. Smith said something about he was upset that he didn't get no invite. So it was those parties that everybody wanted to be at. So Diddy have on tape, he taped everything. He taped everything and taped everybody.
That sentencing hearing scheduled for the fall. Sean Diddy Combs has already been in custody for about 9 months now, and he's also facing dozens of civil lawsuits. What more does he have ahead of him before that hearing? We know, I think it's on October 3rd.
October 3rd at 10 a.m. is when Sean Combs is going to be sentenced for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. Each of those counts carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years. And so prosecutors pointed out in their letter to the judge his total exposure is 20 years in prison. And the judge today, Whit, said that Combs's propensity for violence was starkly depicted on that 2016 hotel security camera footage that may well factor into the judge's sentencing decisions. In the meantime, Sean Combs will continue to be incarcerated at MDC in Brooklyn, the federal jail in Brooklyn, where he's been since his arrest. This is at least the 3rd, possibly even the 4th time that bail has been denied, and he will have to fight those civil lawsuits, at least at the outset, from behind bars.
Sense explosive documentary dropping soon, and Cassie's lawyer still pushing hard to keep Diddy behind bars. This saga is far from finished. The music world may have shielded him for years, but the internet refuses to let this slide. Because if this is what justice looks like, it sure comes with a hefty price. If you're tired of seeing the powerful get away, hit subscribe. We're only just getting started.